Hey everyone, welcome back. This is a continuation on the video that I did a couple of weeks ago where I built a Chrome extension for YouTube Shorts, and I completely redesigned the UI of the add-in and also made some changes, improvements to be precise. I made some improvements to reduce the operating cost of that add-in, and we'll cover all those details in today's video. So if you go to DeKay Hub, you will see that this add-in is the third product available on DeKay Hub. Again, the goal of DeKay Hub is to create a passive revenue stream by offering valuable softwares. So let's see how successful it will be. But I will continue to add more products on DeKay Hub, and I have so many new projects lined up in 2025. I'll cover those in upcoming videos. But yeah, TruthTube is now available as an add-in, and I also submitted the add-in to Chrome App Store. And you can see that if you go to Chrome Web Store and search for TruthTube, I'm calling it TruthTube. I first called YouTube Shorts Lie Detector, but I think it's really lengthy and doesn't stick. I like TruthTube. Let me know what you think. And if you go to Chrome Web Store and search for TruthTube, you will find this add-in. And it goes through an approval process. So first time when I submitted the add-in, it got rejected because the add-in was configured with too many unnecessary permissions. So I had to roll back some of the permissions that are not required and resubmit, and then the add-in was approved. So again, I wanted to go with this route. I could very well share the code on GitHub, and you can sideload the add-in from Chrome developer tools, but that is really inconvenient and that's not how many people would use it. So I want to bite the bullet and do things the right way. So I decided to publish the add-in to App Store so that it's really convenient for you to download or install it on your browser and try it out. Here you'll find a button to install the add-in, but because it's already installed, I don't see that button. But when you go to any YouTube Shorts and click this add-in, you will see the updated interface. So I went with a dark purple theme that I think really looks well, and I believe most of you would prefer dark theme because we spend hours and hours in front of the screen, and dark theme really sits easy on your eyes. So first enter your email address and send OTP. You will get a one-time passcode to log in, and after you verify the OTP, you will be logged in. And this is the updated interface. You see that it's powered by AI in the bottom right corner, and you have a settings panel on the bottom left corner and a huge circular run button. When you click it, it will analyze the current video, and you have a logout button on the top right corner. So before I walk you through the interface, let me talk about some key changes that I did. So if you watched my last video, this add-in works in 3 steps. In step 1, we extract the audio from the short clip, and in step 2, we transcribe the audio. By transcribe, we convert the speech to text, and in step 3, we analyze the text for misleading statements. So the way I built the add-in last time was in step 1, I used open source NPM packages to extract the audio, so it was free. But for step 2 and step 3, I was using OpenAI's large language models, which cost to use. So for step 2, I was using a Whisper model that cost around $7 for every 1,000 videos. And for step 3, I was using a ChatGPT 4o mini model, which is again the cheapest and the fastest offering from OpenAI, but it's not zero, right? If I did some cost analysis, it will still cost you roughly $7 to $8 for every 1,000 videos. So combining all the 3 steps, it would cost about $15 for every 1,000 videos, which is less, but also I was just thinking, is there a way to get rid of those costs? So I decided to replace step 2 and step 3 with open source models available on Hugging Face. So that way, the overall cost of operations is 0, right? The only cost of operating is step 1, where I deploy the add-in on a cloud server and I have to pay for the cloud server. So that's the only cost. Other than that, the other for step 2 and step 3, the costs don't scale with the number of users. So I'm really satisfied with these optimizations. So to use this add-in, you need Hugging Face API key. And if you go to settings and scroll down, you will see an option to enter Hugging Face API key. And if you don't know how to create it, don't worry, I left a link here. When you click this, it will take you to the Hugging Face site, where you just at the click of a button, you can create an API key. And the keys are encrypted and stored securely on the server. And your keys will only be used to analyze your videos and for no other purpose. And you can verify this by going on to Hugging Face API, and on the site, it shows you the usage. So it's very transparent and the keys are only used for your videos. So that being said, for step 1, I still need to launch the add-in on a cloud server for it to be operational, and I need to pay for the server. So that's why I introduced this pricing model, and I think it's very generous. So for the first 100 videos, when you sign up for the first time, you get 100 videos free, but after that you have to pay for 1 cent for each video, and that means for $10 you would get around 1000 credits. And keep in mind that these credits are only used if the results for a particular video are not available in the database. So the add-in grows as we have more users and more results in the database. It will get cheaper and cheaper. So let me know what you think of the pricing model. I think it's very generous, and I don't know about the pricing. So let's run it on a video and see how the results look. So here is a video from Bob Lazar from Joe Rogan podcast. So let's run it on this video and see what we get. The analysis takes roughly 15 to 20 seconds. Just be patient and let's see what we get. Alright, so here we got a truth score of 6, and let's look at the results. I also added a disclaimer that these results are AI generated, so take it with a grain of salt. So if you scroll down, the gravity wave claim. So let's watch the clip, right? Let's
center, and there's a wave guy that goes up to the top. There's actually a small appendage that sticks out of the top of the craft, and it produces a heart-shaped gravitational distortion around the craft. Now, if the craft is sitting in the air and you walk underneath it and look up, you actually cannot see the craft. The light bends around it. Your bending gravity bends light. It bends radio waves. It shouldn't be possible to communicate with a craft that has an envelope around it that's distorting all forms of energy. But what's weird is he shouldn't be able to communicate with the craft with a radio. A radio wave should bend around the craft. It shouldn't be possible. But what's weird is he shouldn't be able to communicate with the craft with a radio. Radio wave should bend around the craft. It shouldn't be possible. Every single thing about the craft and the way they operated didn't make any sense to us.
Why should the frequency bend around the craft?
Well, you really have to look at the way the gravity wave comes out of the craft. The reactor's in the center, and there's a wave guy that goes up to the top. There's actually a small appendage that sticks out of the top of the craft.
Alright, so looks like in this video, Bob Lazar is making claims that around this aircraft that he saw, light and gravity waves were bending, something in those lines. So let's run it and see what we get. You see, we got the results in just 1 second because we already ran the analysis before and the results are already in the database. So you won't be charged any credits for this analysis. So these are the 3 lies that it detected. So first is gravity wave claim. The speaker claims that aircraft's reactor produces a gravity wave that distorts all forms of energy, including light and radio waves. So that is really not proven, or while the existence of such technology is not proven in our current scientific understanding, it's not necessarily a lie or a misleading statement, as the advancement of technology is always evolving. So it couldn't verify these claims. It's not saying it's outright lie, but it couldn't verify these claims. And what about the next one? Invisibility of the aircraft. The statement that light bends around it, making it invisible, implies that the craft is completely invisible. However, according to the provided explanation, the craft is only invisible when looking up at it from underneath due to the heart-shaped gravitational distortion, not when light approached it from other angles. This could be considered a misleading statement. So again, I have no clue how light bends or how to make an object the size of an aircraft invisible. So these insights are really useful, right? You can communication impossibility. The claim that it shouldn't be possible to communicate with a craft that has an envelope around it that distorts all forms of energy is not necessarily a lie, but it can be considered optimistic or misleading. As of current scientific knowledge, the cited phenomenon could intend make communication difficult but not necessarily impossible, especially with advanced technologies. So again, we are venturing into science fiction territory, so it's hard to validate these claims. But I like the fact that AI responded.
But what's weird is
I like the fact that AI didn't outright call these as lies, but rather said that these are very questionable statements or hard to validate given the current state of the technology. So it's still useful. Let's run this on a non-scientific video. So here is a conversation with Jordan Peterson. Let's watch the clip.
Or right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive.
I love this line. I saw this clip so many times. I'm curious to see what AI comes up with.
Look at the conversation we're having right now. You're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
Well, I'm very glad I put you in this spot.
But these guys, my points, like you're doing what you should do, which is digging a bit to see what the hell's going on. And that is what you should do. But you're exercising your freedom of speech to certainly risk offending me. And that's fine. I think more power to you as far as I'm concerned.
You haven't sat there and
Obviously, I align with Jordan Peterson in this clip. Let's see what AI thinks about this clip. Again, I'm running it for the first time, so my reactions are as honest as it gets. Wow, it got 7 out of 10. I'm surprised. I thought I was expecting a higher score, but possible epistemic credibility argument. The individual is arguing that the pursuit of truth justifies the offense caused by freedom of speech. This argument can be considered reasonable and applicable in certain contexts, but it's important to note the truth can be pursued without intentionally causing offense. The argument could be potentially more persuasive if the individual's intention was to seek understanding rather than to offend. In this case, I think I don't know, man. In this clip, I don't think Jordan Peterson's intent is to intentionally cause any offense. He's just trying to communicate. So I think AI might have taken his statements in a broader context. But obviously, I'm no fan of speech moderation. So I don't align with this analysis. But let's look at the next one. Manipulative use of discomfort. The individual may have intentionally caused discomfort to elicit a response, implying that the discomfort is a necessary consequence of freedoms of free speech. This tactic can be manipulative as it exploits the emotional response to further an argument. I don't know, man. Malicious compliment. The individual compliments the other person for challenging them and digging for the truth. While this might seem genuine, the compliment is used to divert attention from the potential offense caused earlier in this conversation. So you're just trying to brush away. This is a common manipulative tactic used as kiss and make up or perform a compliment. Again, I don't know what these terms mean. I'm hearing these for the first time, and obviously, if you're an expert debater, you might have more understanding on how to debate, how to stay focused, how to make the other person stay focused on the argument, and how to not fall for debate tactics or any fallacies like strawmanning an argument or ad hominems. There are several tactics used in a debate to win. Winning the debate doesn't necessarily, we are living in a world where winning a debate doesn't necessarily mean that you have all the right arguments. You can use a lot of tactics to still appear to be winning. So it's still, I like how detailed these responses are. It makes me realize the full spectrum. I like that it's taking these arguments in a broader context. And although I'd line with some of these points, I still like to know how the things that I like in this video can be used to disguise or manipulate. Let's run it on one final video. Here is a conversation between Joe Rogan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's watch the clip.
People want to believe that the Egyptians somehow had some access to the universe.
Well, they knew somewhat. Of course, it doesn't. The physical presence of these incredible buildings leave the possibility that maybe they had some knowledge that we lost.
Lost knowledge is a real thing. I don't want to belittle or diminish the significance of real knowledge. Yes, you can lose knowledge. But if you look at the knowledge we have gleaned using the modern methods and tools of science that go far beyond our 5 senses and our access to the world, to say that somehow they knew something that we don't using our tools, that's just false. Sorry, that's not possible. Why?
Wow. I didn't expect that. 3 out of 10. Exaggeration. The statement, of course, doesn't the physical presence of these incredible buildings leave the possibility that maybe that they had some knowledge that we lost could be considered an exaggeration. While it's true that the ancient Egyptians built impressive structures like the pyramids, attributing all these achievements to some knowledge that we lost might be an overstatement. That is what Neil said in this video, right? So I'm surprised. AI should have agreed with Neil's statement. So although this is coming up as a lie, this is what Neil mentioned in the video. So they should be considered as debunking ancient Egyptian technology. Let's look at the next one. Subjective opinion. The statement, yes, you can lose knowledge, is an expression of agreement, but it also reflects the speaker's subjective opinion. While it's true that knowledge can be lost, the speaker's repetition of yes implies certainty, which may not be fully supported by the available evidence. What's the next one? Assertion of impossibility. The assertion that that's just false. Sorry, that's not possible. regarding the hypothesis that Egyptians had knowledge beyond our current understanding could be considered as a potential lie or misleading statement. While it's important to approach such theories critically, it is also essential to acknowledge that science is constantly evolving and some ancient civilizations may have had knowledge that we have yet to discover or recognize. Of course, that's true. I think I've seen some podcasts where these science-centric people like Neil or Bill Nye, they tend to be dismissive of ancient theories, you can call it, because we don't have proof. But it's easier to just say what we don't know, right? Just say that we don't know, we don't have enough evidence. But to outright say that it's impossible, I think that's a stretch. Alright, so that's about it. So do give it a try, download the extension, share your feedback, and let me know what you think. I hope you like it. And I have so many new projects lined up for 2025. I will make tutorials and also launch products so that we have an even balance. And that's it for this video, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.